Okay, hello and welcome to today's webinar, everyone. My name is Jen Radomski, and today we are going to be talking about the different ways of assigning people in your membership database to groups and classes or skills and interests. This topic is covered in the workbooks that we have available for purchase on our website. This is going to be in membership 201 on pages 11 through 17 if you're following along in those workbooks, or if you decide that you would like to purchase the workbook for today's topic. Again, that's membership 201, pages 11 through 17. And we're not going to be covering how to create groups and classes or skills interests. That's already been covered in another webinar. Today's topic is just assigning folks into those groups and classes or skills and interests once they've been added. And we are in version 21.18.4. If you have questions about the topic, we've got Rachel with us answering those questions. All you have to do is type them into the questions panel on your webinar toolbar. And if there are any questions that are relevant for everybody, I'll read the answer and the question out loud. That covers all the administrative stuff, so let's go ahead and dive right in. We're going to open up the membership module. And the first way that we're going to look at of assigning people to groups and classes or skills and interests is through a person's individual record in People. So I'm going to click the People button, and it's going to open up to the first person in my database. The Groups and Classes and Skills and Interests tabs on the individual record are right here. And you can see that they are in bold on this first person, Nina. And that's because Nina has those groups and classes and skills and interests assigned. If I tab through some of the other records, you can see on this example, Karen has skills and interests not showing up in bold, and that's because she doesn't have any. If we click on that tab, you can see it's blank for Karen, but if we go back one, it's bold for Jen Arnold because she has a few skills and interests already assigned. On either the Groups and Classes or Skills and Interests tab, right below the column headers is a blank row, and that's where we click to add a new skill or interests or group or class, depending on which tab we're looking at. And you can see faintly it says here in the middle, click here to add a new row. Let me highlight that so you can see, because it's easy to miss. So what we do is we click in this empty row, and that allows us to choose a group or a class from the drop-down list. There's also a clear button, that's what the X is, and an edit button to create new groups and classes. Then we have start dates and end dates that can be useful for Sunday school classes or committees that are changing, so that you can keep track of who was in each group or class during a particular time period. Next, we have roles, and the default roles that come with the software are chair, teacher, and youth assistant. you can use the Edit button with the plus/minus pencil to create any additional roles that you might want to or need to use for your groups and classes. You can also delete ones that you don't need or inactivate them so that they're no longer an option, but you don't lose the historical data. Deleting would lose the data. Inactivating would simply hide it as an option. The next column of information for groups and classes is comments. It has a drop-down arrow to give you more space to type, and you can type any information into the comments that you feel might be relevant for tracking groups and classes. And next we have transfer date and transfer reason. The transfer date and transfer reason can be used, for example, if a Sunday school class gets too big and you need to create a second one, and you are going to transfer maybe half of the kids from the original class to the new class. That might be a transfer reason. Again, the reason is going to be a drop-down where you can add codes and descriptions, such as a new class was created. And then the transfer date is just a typical date field. You can use the calendar or you can type a date. And then finally, you have a minus button to delete the row. And in this case, it's an assignment of nothing because I didn't fill anything out in that row. So I'm going to say yes to remove that. I'm going to click cancel to not save that. So if I click the drop down for assign multiple, I could go through and put check marks next to various groups and classes that I might want to assign a person to. And same with skills and interests. If you click the drop down, you can put check marks next to any and all skills and interests that you want to assign to a particular person. The second way of assigning people to groups and classes or skills and interests is going to be from the Groups and Skills menu up here at the very top of the screen. We have Assign Groups and we have Assign Skills. We'll take a look at Assign Groups first. In the Assign Groups screen, we simply select the group that we want to work with from the Groups Classes drop-down box right here. And we see our full list of groups and classes that we can choose from. If I look at, let's just take the youth choir, for example. If I choose that group, I have the list of people who are currently enrolled. And on the left side of the screen over here, I have the list of everyone in the database. I can use this box here at the top to type and search for a specific person. For example, Sarah Knox. And as I type, the people who match what I've typed come up, and I can just hit enter on my keyboard to add the person that I had highlighted, Sarah, and now she shows up on the right side in the class. And just like from the individual record, we have start dates, end dates, roles, and comments. I recommend using the assignment screen if you have a lot of people to assign to one particular group or class versus using the individual record if you have one person that you need to assign to several groups and classes. That's kind of the way that I differentiate between which way I'm going to go about assigning someone. And you can see here at the top of this little window for the assignment screen, we have tabs for the groups and classes versus the skills and interests. And so just like on the groups classes, we have a drop-down for our different skills and interests. And we have our list on the left once we choose a skill or an interest. And we can add any people from the left, either by double-clicking their names or clicking to highlight and using the arrow buttons. You can remove people in the same way. Highlight the person you want to remove and use the arrow button to move them to the other side of the screen. So again, if you click the the assign button up here at the top, it brings you to the assignment screen and you can toggle between groups and classes and skills and interests. The final way that we can assign people to a group or class is by using the Find grid. So I'm going to click Find, and I'm going to do a search based on age, being between 13 and 18, so that I can get all of the kids in my database who are between 13 and 18, so my middle schoolers and high schoolers. And when I click Find, it's going to bring up the list of all the kids who meet that criteria. And then up here, at the top of the Find grid, I have an Assign button, very similar to what we have up here at Groups and Skills. If I click Assign and choose Groups Classes, then I choose the group or class I want to put all of those 13 to 18-year-olds in. I'm going to put them in my youth volunteering class. You can see the list here on the left now only shows those kids that I searched for in the Find grid, as opposed to when we went to the assignment screen up top, it showed everybody in the database on the left. Now it's just showing the kids I searched for using my Find, and I can click Select All, and I can put all those kids in my youth volunteering group in one fell swoop. And if you need to add those people that you searched for using Find to multiple groups, you can. I'm just going to do this one youth volunteering group for now. And click Save. And it asks me if I want to enter dates. If I do, I can put those in those boxes. And if I don't, I can just click Cancel, and it will still put the kids in the class without actually entering any dates. So that covers our different methods of assigning people to groups and classes, as well as skills and interests. Thank you all very much for attending. And that concludes our webinar. So if you have any questions, feel free to stick around and type those questions in the question panel on your webinar toolbar. Otherwise, you can feel free to sign out. If you're watching the recording, thank you very much and have a great rest of your day.